Hello and welcome to the program. I am Bisi Adebayo. Only 3 of the 26 women who drowned in the Mediterranean in November have been confirmed as Nigerians. And that's according to the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons at a meeting with the Joint Committee of the House of Representatives investigating the death of the women and the reported modern-day slave trade in Libya. The committee also heard from officials of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Department of State Security.
Weeks after news broke that 26 women drowned while trying to cross the Mediterranean in early November, the nation is still trying to find answers to the many questions thrown up by the tragic incident. This joint committee of the House of Representatives has been mandated to investigate the matter. The committee is also to look into reports of modern-day slavery in Libya involving Nigerians. The official from the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons provides invaluable insight into the present position.
When I finally arrived in Italy, I was informed by the Italian officials that out of the 26 dead women, only 3 were identified as Nigerians. Later, information got to me that only 2 of the women were Nigerians. In their response, the Italian embassy stated that more details that will help in confirming the true identities of the 26 deceased girls has been forwarded to the relevant authorities in Italy for action, and the agency will be furnished with same when the relevant authorities respond to the request.
The lawmakers then turned to the officials of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, who explained the difficulties they face in Libya while trying to help Nigerians in the North African country.
Our ability to work is a function of the cooperation of the government. If the government is not able to cooperate with us, we can't function well. It can be interpreted as if we are not doing anything. Do they have passport? We identify them normally. From my first introduction, they don't go, even if they have passport, they tear it.
For the Department of State Security, there is still a lot of work to be done.
So that coordination is necessary, and that is what has not been as effective as it should be. But I think going forward, having this forum, all of us will now sit down and find a way of getting ourselves together to know what we are doing and to know what we should be doing to ensure that we tackle this thing head on. As I said, it's a national security problem and it concerns everyone.
Adding to the complexity of this tragic situation, lawmakers also voiced their concerns regarding the fate of Nigerians who will still be in Libya after the 17th of December, when the fragile agreement that is holding the current leadership together may lapse. Lanre Lasese, Channels Television News.
A public affairs analyst, Olatunji Olariwaju, is at our Abuja studio for more on the migrant issue. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Olariwaju. So another batch of Nigerians is arriving today from Libya. It looks like the IOM wants to bring back as many people as possible before the end of the year.
Well, it is expected. Right now, the death of migrants in Libya, it's already becoming an international embarrassment. So if you see the kind of attention that this has generated, means that all hands has to be on deck to get as many migrants out of Libya. And so far, we all heard that Nigeria has returned over 5,000 people. Even last night, some over 400 were returned into the country. I think is a step in the right direction. Most of the migrants right now would rather want to return back to their respective countries than die in the detention cells in Libya.
Foreign Affairs says that some of the Nigerians don't want to return, despite the fact that some of their fellow Nigerians have died in those detention centers. But do you think that anything can be done to make them change their minds, or does it just have to remain voluntary?
You know, there are legal issues around that, especially as it regards to the return of these migrants. I think Nigeria needs to work with the African Union on this. I know that there's a charter that governs the migration of people across Africa. And so if people are refusing to return, it is something of concern. But there are legal processes to this. And part of what I'm thinking, I think the countries involved, Nigeria and all the other countries in West Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa, has to work through the African Union. We also have to see to creating legal pathways for these people to either be gainfully employed or be integrated in the respective countries where they are right now. But if their in detention camps in Libya, the jeopardy there is that Libya has about 3 different governments. Libya is unstable, there's a conflict in Libya, and so that makes it even more complicated. But persuasion has to be put into this, and I think every legal option has to be placed on the table, because involuntary repatriation movement of people has some legal ramifications.
Now, but despite the ordeal that some of the returnees have gone through outside the country, this may not deter people from still making such trips. Is there anything else that the government can do to make sure that Nigerians stop making this dangerous journey, apart from improving the economy?
Well, you have to look at it. We always talk about the push factors of illegal migration and irregular migration, as some people will call it. And if you keep having conflicts on the continent, especially in the sub-Saharan region of Africa, you keep having these people wanting to go. But we have to address the issues of governance in Africa. We really have to address the issue of transparency and accountability for every government across the sub-Saharan region. If you don't deal with governance issues, we are going to keep having this kind of issues. Besides the economy, you have to look at what are we doing, what are we going to do, how are we working on education, are we working on the healthcare system, what are we doing about security. If you look at the case of Nigeria right now, we are like 127th among 137 countries, according to the World Economic Forum. In terms of in the area of security, we are like 132. In the area of maybe electricity. So you find all sorts of, the index is horrible. So it's beyond the economy, and you have to look at how you can do, what kind of reassurance can you give to young people. They will keep moving, but we also have to try everything possible to improve the systems at our border. Nigerians also have to be able to, we have to use our immigration to stop illegal and irregular migration through the borders. And our border system is very weak, it's very porous. The immigration network as it is right now is failing or has failed. And so you have to also see what we can do to strengthen NANTIP, that's the illegal trafficking agency. We have to do a whole lot. It's not just the economy. And if you look at the pattern, you see the greatest number of Nigerians that are found in Libya are not even from the crisis-ridden region in Nigeria. They are mostly from the south-south. And so there's something that is broken also in governance in that region, and we have to have an open conversation within the system. We have to be honest with ourselves and deal with the problems we have internally.
Talking about dealing with the problems now, it's one thing to bring them back home, but it's another to integrate them back into the society. What's on ground for them as they return? Because there were several reasons why they left the country in the first place.
Well, it's a $1 million question, and because if you look across the country, poverty is as in the northeast as it is in the southeast. It is as in the southwest, and also you find it in the northwest. Poverty is a thing of concern. The last report, there was a report, I think last month, that indicated that Nigeria is going to have the highest number of poor people as early as February 2018. And so if they are coming back, government has to go out of its way, stretch backward, and however they can do it to accommodate these young Nigerians. We need to provide for the young ones. And I think a lot has to be done in terms of vocational training right now. But the government, their hands are filled right now. And I know that it's not going to be an easy task. But we have to also start addressing the concern at state levels and at local government levels. The system, like I said earlier, is broken. If you don't, you can't just, everything can't be on the federal government. What are the state governments doing? Let's look at the data. Let the Nigerian Agency for Migrants and IDPs, let them reel out the numbers. Where do we have the highest numbers of people? Are they from Edo, Delta? And what is the pull factor for Edo indigenes to want to drift through the Mediterranean to Europe? So we have to start talking about this thing. There has to be a whole lot of reorientation. I know it just sounds like the same thing we have been talking all over. But if we don't put rubber to the road now, we are going to have an implosion very soon on these issues.
Public Affairs Analyst Olatunji Olariwaju, thanks for sharing your thoughts with us.